Hey y'all, it's Brijin the Museum Stitcher. Welcome back to my channel for Flosstube number 24. I can't believe I've almost done 25 of these. Absolutely wild. But this is my channel where I talk mostly about my cross stitch, but also about the other crafts I get up to. Today that also includes some quilting and some reading. So if you like cross stitch, knitting, quilting, reading, and shaky cameras because cats are behind them, then this is definitely the channel for you. I hope you stick around and like the video and subscribe and do all those YouTubey things. But welcome back for my returning subscribers. Today is going to be pretty action-packed. I've got a few new starts, some whips, I've got a UFO, some books, and some quilting updates. So it should be a pretty good one. The last 2 weeks have been fairly quiet, mostly just kind of plugging along and kind of enjoying the new crafty bug that seems to have overtaken me over the last few weeks. So yeah, so before we get going, I wanted to give an update reminder on my coupon code with Adam Heart cross stitch. You can get the Adam Heart floss drop bobbins or floss drop hearts or anything from their shop for 15% off with code museum15. It's active from April 1st to September 30th of 2023. And it's not an affiliate code. I don't get anything from it. It's just a product that I love that I think you guys should be able to get a little bit cheaper. So that's the reminder for that. But let's get into the actual cross stitch stuff. So before we get going on new starts, I wanted to talk UFOs. So I have UFO'd a project. For those of you who aren't familiar and are new to the cross stitch community, UFO stands for unfinished object. But I also will use the term DNF, which is a book term for did not finish. And this project it's bittersweet. And a lot of you are probably going to be not very happy with me for doing this. But I felt a lot better since I've made the decision to get rid of this project. But this is Dark Queen of the Earth by Autumn Lane Stitchery. And I have done a lot on this project. So let me show you what she's looking like. I did parts 1 to half of 3, 5, and a little bit of 6. So parts 4 and the other half of 3 have not been done. But I just have not been enjoying working on this. I'm not the biggest fan of the facial design. And I just think that I would be a lot happier if I let it go. I'm a big fan of putting those boundaries and not feeling like you have to stitch something that's huge just because you started it. Sometimes your tastes change and that's fine. But I thought it would be nice for me to adopt this out. So if you have been looking at wanting to stitch the Dark Queen of the Earth, but either haven't gotten started yet or have not wanted to because of financial constraints or whatever, if you would like to adopt this, I will send you the piece that I have partially stitched with the needle minder, with all of the DMC and the treasure braid, and the bead pack is in here as well. The only thing that you will have to buy is the pattern, which I feel like is fair. I think she could get a lot more love and a different home, and I am happy to provide her that home. So if you would like to take this off my hands, maybe you have someone you know who's a stitcher who would love this, or you would love it. I just ask that you be in the United States because that is the easiest for me to ship to, and that you be 18 or older so I can get your address. But please use the word queen in your comment, and I will go through in my next video and pick a winner and get that all shipped out to you. So you've got about 2 weeks from the posting of this video to decide if you want to enter for that. If she doesn't find a good home, I guess I'll just be getting rid of her. But I would like it to send it to someone who would actually put the time and effort into finishing it that I don't want to do. So if you want a genuine, partially stitched museum stitcher piece of fabric, this is old gold 32 count linen from Fiber on a Whim. So should probably be comfortable stitching on linen. But that is some business that I wanted to take care of before we got started on my actual whips. And honestly, having that off of my whip pile makes me feel a lot better because that is a stitch along that I have been behind on for a really long time. And sometimes when you're just behind on a stitch along, it just really kind of destroys your stitchy bug. And so yeah, we're moving on and sending it to someone who will actually really want it. Also, hairstyle today inspired by Megan Babauta. She's been wearing her hair like this a lot and I love it. And I don't have as much hair as she does, so it doesn't quite look as good, but Megan girl, you always look good. Okay, so let's talk new starts. Okay, so first new start is my Manning May SAL. So this is a stitch along that I'm hosting with my friends Cam the Stitcher, Megan of the Seattle Stitcher, and Marjorie of Marjorie Made. And holy cow, I was not quite expecting you guys to love this stitch along as much as you are. There are so many posts. If you look up hashtag Manning May SAL on Instagram, everyone is picking something different, and it's been super fun to see what everyone's picking and starting and working on, whether it's a new start or a whip or someone needed an excuse to start another one. And it's just been really fun. So thank you guys for the complete volume at which you guys have participated in this stitch along. It has been super fun, and it's definitely the most successful stitch along that I've hosted in my short tenure here on Flosstube. So yeah, that is very fun. I am doing Bountiful Blooms. This stitch along, I didn't say, but it's working on a Carolyn Manning designs. She has a ton of designs, whether they be like mandalas or quilt inspired or these gorgeous like quadrant designs. I don't know, it's beautiful. She's got so many good patterns, and it was really hard for me to choose what I was going to work on. But I think the girls and I have decided that we are going to make it a yearly SAL, so we'll start a new one every year. And that means I have quite a bit to go on this project. But I started this on May 1st with everybody else. I'm doing mine on a 16 count French Country Aida by Witchelt with the call for DMC, and this is a Bountiful Blooms. Duh. It is one of her quilt inspired designs. So this design actually has been inspired by an English paper piece quilt, and I think that's really fun. I also English paper piece and I'm a quilter, so all of those things appeal to me. And this is what I've done on it. This is sitting, let me pull up my stats here. This is sitting at 1776 stitches, so at 1,776 stitches at 7.1% complete. I still have 23,412 stitches to go. And it would be more stitches, but actually part of this design includes some negative space. And I think I was a little worried the purple wasn't going to be distinct enough, but I think it looks totally fine. This has been so much fun. I've actually been stitching this one in hand because it's just DMC on some rather crunchy Aida, but it's totally fine. This needle minder either came from Mad for Minders or Top Knot Stitcher. I can't quite remember which one, but both of them make great needle minders. So the entire piece of fabric for this design is about here with 2.5 inches of margin. So there's still quite a bit to go. But really good progress for only working on this for, I think about 4 days this week to be almost at 2,000 stitches. I'm going to work on this at least 3 days a week for the entire month of May, but I have some other stitchy goals that I'd like to get done before StitchCon in June. I'll be at weekend A, and I think that this one is just going to have to go to the wayside for that. But I might also be taking it to StitchCon with me since it is so easy to work on. And it does have like blocks of color, especially now that the design is just going. I've got a better handle on it. So if you'd like to join us for this stitch along, we would love to have you. It's been super fun, again, seeing what everyone's working on. Megan is working on a cool Halloween one. Cam is working on this gorgeous small that's in these Easter colors. And Marjorie is working on one of her Shooting Star collection in this like muted opals. It's so pretty. So this is my DMC ring. I am super happy with it. These are the Adam Hart frosted thread hearts. Make everything super easy. Being able to use the loop method and stitch it in hand means it is going very fast. Okay, so that is one of my 2 new starts. The other new start, I talked about doing this in my last video and I got around to it. This is The Gentle Rain by the Blue Flower. This is another stitch along that I'm doing with Caitlin of Cross Stitch Kate and Lauren the New Hampshire Stitcher. And this piece is super fun. I am doing it with all of the called for threads. I am missing the bright yellow, which is why I still have the DMC on here in case I get tired of waiting. But I have been working on this for probably about 5 days, and I have gotten a similar level of doneness. I think having markup now, I'm able to see my stitch counts, which has been really, really nice for my analytical brain, because my brain loves analytics. I love spreadsheets, all of those kinds of things. And this stitch I started on April 23rd, and I have gotten 1,600 stitches in on it, and I have 8,500 left, and I'm sitting at about 15.8% complete, and this stitches up so fast. And this is what it looks like. So this is on a 40 count truffle linen by Picture This Plus. It is more pink in person, but if you've watched Caitlin's most recent video, or you've watched Megan, the Seattle Stitcher's older videos, you know truffle linen is an extremely difficult linen to picture and to get right. So it is what it is, but I love the fabric choice. I think it is working out great. I was a little bit nervous about how the white stitches were going to show up, but I think they look totally fine. So got this whole big tree done. I got some of the plants at the bottom of the tree started, but I haven't finished those out. There's a flower pot here, and then the girl in the raincoat is right here. And then I'm almost at the halfway mark going this way. So I think my goal for the rest of the month is to try and finish out the whole complete section here and fill in what's in the trees, including the leaves. But I thought this would be a really fun stitch to convert to being my rainy day stitch. So I know a lot of people do like a snow day stitch where they only pull out a project when it's snowing outside. And that is extremely impractical for a Texan, which I am, because then I'd really only be working on said project for like 1 day a year, maybe. And it's not even guaranteed. Like some days we get like 5 days of snow or ice. I say snow, it's really ice. But I don't know, it just didn't feel like enough. But here, it rains pretty infrequently, but more frequently than it snows. So I thought this would be fun to pull out on rainy days. And that way I make sure I get some progress on it. I think this could theoretically be a pretty fast finish. It is a total of 10,000 stitches, but like I said, I'm already 1,600 in, and I only worked on this for 4 days, really, really quickly. Yeah, but I'm very much enjoying having statistics with my cross stitch now, at least on my PDF charts. I can't do it with paper charts, but I have been massively enjoying this. So if you've not checked out Lauren, the New Hampshire Stitcher, or Caitlin of Cross Stitch Kate, please do. I will have their channels linked down below so you can see their gorgeous progress. Caitlin is so far on it because she already had it as a whip, and she's almost finished the entire horizontal lower portion of the stitch. It's so beautiful. Yeah, I'm very much enjoying this stitch. It feels very April, very spring, and it's just so much fun. I am a big fan of like everything the Blue Flower does though, so grain of salt. I put my project back. I have no idea. I'll figure it out later. Okay, and then we're moving on to whips now. That was it for my new starts. But I worked on 2 of my whips in the last 2 weeks, so I did get a pretty good project rotation going. The first project that I made some progress on is another stitch along. It's very stitch along heavy today. This is the Greenhouse of Oddities SAL by Lola Cross Stitch. This is a mystery stitch along that we have. Part 1 has been released. It is the greenhouse barrier or border, and then the actual items in the greenhouse are going to start popping up on May 24th. So I am trying to have this finished, this part that's been released finished by then. But I'm doing mine on a 40 count dovetail linen by not Picture This Plus, Forbidden Fiber Company. And I started this on April 15th, which is the day after the stitch along first part was released. And this is what it looks like. Actually, here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. I'm trying to get better about doing those pictures. and this is what it looks like now. So if I'm not mistaken, I had a little over, I think I had 1,400 stitches or a little over 1,000. I can't really remember where I was at numerically, but this is now sitting at 2,000 stitches. So I am almost 25% complete, or a third of the way complete. Yeah, because there's about 6,000 stitches in this first release, and I am almost 2,000 stitches in. So I need to just finish out this greenhouse and the whole bottom. There's a line here to match this one, and then do this greenhouse here. And then I can add in the little accents in white and another DMC color that I can't remember. Disjointed today. But yeah, very much enjoying this one. My fabric is like perfect. It's exactly what I was picturing. And this one actually stitches up pretty fast as well. I am trying to stay at about 1,000 stitches a week with this one. So I will probably be pulling this out starting tomorrow to try and hit that goal, just so that I have this finished by the time the actual smaller releases happen. I would love to stay on top of this and all of that jazz. If you hear ringing, my cat is bringing toy presents, and all of his favorite toys have bells. So yeah, this is the greenhouse of Oddities. Everyone and their mother is working on this right now, but it's so much fun to see everyone pulling this off. And I know a lot of people have actually already finished it, which I probably should have done, but like I said, I stitch on a lot of things. So I am going to put this down, pause for a second, and fix my bangs. Okay, so I only worked on one more whip this week, and then everything else will be haul and quilting and reading. But the final project I worked on is Love Gains by Modern Folk Embroidery. I am trying to get this one finished relatively soon, so that it might be my project I get to ring the bell on at StitchCon. We're gonna see. I don't know if I can make it, but we're gonna try. This project I started on May 14th of 2022, so we're actually coming up on its 1-year whip anniversary, and this is what it looked like the last time you saw it, and this is what it looks like now. This is on a 28 count Stay with the High Lord even weave from Fangirl Fibers from her A Court of Thorns and Roses fabric club last year. Fergus. But I actually went through and I finished 2 whole motifs on this side, the bottom center, and started on the bottom corner motif. After that bottom corner motif is done, I will have 7 half Quakers left to fill in here, and then I have to rechart the quote. I'm changing this to be an A Court of Thorns and Roses quote, and so the quote will go here, and then I just have to stitch that. So this is sitting stats wise at 7,708 stitches finished. There are 4,294 stitches left to go in the Quakers, not including my new recharted quote that I still have to do. It's sitting at 64% complete. And I think that means that to get it done, to get all the Quakers done before StitchCon, I would have to finish 3 half Quakers every week, which the ones that are in this fill-in section here actually are smaller, the ones that go like right through here. So it might be possible, I don't know. This also is just a nice stitch to work on. It's very, oh, I forgot to say the floss. This is Color and Cotton Salem Light. It's a gray black with a purple undertone. So it reads as very purple on purple, or at least like black purple on purple. It's so pretty, and this piece is so much fun. So I really need to figure out what quote I am going to be putting on that and get that recharted. If not, I need to pick a different piece that I think I can get to a finishing point for StitchCon, because I really want to ring the bell while I'm there. And that is only a few weeks away, which is also scary. So we're gonna see if I can get there. If not, at least I'll be close to a finish. I keep this one in a project bag from the Forbidden Fiber Company. This was their Discovery of Witches project bag, and it fits my Morgan hoop, which is what I use to stitch this project on. Since I can fit an entire half Quaker in my Morgan hoop, it makes it super portable and easy to travel with. Okay, So that is everything I stitched on, but I did have some cross stitch related haul and some upcoming cross stitch stitch alongs that I wanted to tell you about before you click out if you're not interested in the quilting and the books. So the first thing I wanted to tell you guys about is I'm doing a no buy for the month of May. So all of these items have been purchased in the month of April, and I just haven't had a chance to tell you about them yet. But my friend Lauren, the New Hampshire stitcher, is stitching this project, and when she posted about it, I thought it was really cute and I decided to hop in and grab it. But this is the Garden Sampler by Carriage House Samplings, and I believe Stephanie of Lindy Stitches is also working on this right now. It came out at Expo last year or the year before, one of the two. And it's very just like whimsical alphabet. It's pretty small, and I figured I could get my fabric out of stash, and she, Lauren, actually requested that Evertote do a Roxy Flossco conversion for this, which I'm a big fan of Roxy Flossco flosses. So I grabbed the Roxy conversion for this, and I'll be starting that when it gets in. It's just a very fun summer piece. And you guys know I am a sucker for a seasonal stitch. As long as like the summer isn't nautical, nautical is not for me, but that's just also probably where I grew up. Then I got my Bestitch Me fabric of the month. The fabric this month is Grog. It is a gorgeous like red toned caramel. My friend Cam the Stitcher showed her cut of Grog in her most recent video, and our cuts look wildly different. So it's just one of those things that when you get fabric, sometimes it's just totally different than other people's. But it's just like a perfect all-around color. It might actually be pretty for the Garden Sampler. I haven't decided yet. And then my friend Megan, the Seattle Stitcher, very kindly sent me this linen. This is some 40 count flannel flower by Fox and Rabbit. And she sent this to me because I had my heart set on this fabric for the next stitch along that I'm about to tell you about. And that stitch along is the hashtag Goth Vanity Sampler SAL. So we're going to be doing Vanity Sampler. By we, I mean Cam, Marjorie, Megan, and I are going to be doing the Vanity Sampler by Liz Mathews. This was one of her most recent market releases, and it is stunning. But Cam put together this conversion that's very dark purples, teals, and pinks. I will pop the mock-up right here. And I need to go pull my DMC for that one as well. But I really wanted flannel flower for this because flannel flower, it's this gorgeous cream with a yellow buttery undertone, but also like gray modeling. And I think with those like pinks and teals and grays, it would just be perfect. But I couldn't find it anywhere, so Megan sent me some from her stash. So thanks, Megan. This is God's perfect fabric. So if you want to join us for the Goth Vanity Sampler SAL, or you just want to work on Vanity Sampler as called for, which is absolutely gorgeous, we're going to have two hashtags running. So it'll be Vanity Sampler SAL and Goth Vanity Sampler SAL. So feel free to join us. We're going to start stitching on it on May 20th. So that's my only other planned start for this month, which is very exciting. Okay, so that is everything cross-stitch related for this video. If you're interested in a little bit of yarn haul and then some quilting updates and some book updates, we will roll into that here in just a second. Okay, so yarn update first. I got in some yarn. This is Ritual Dyes Undine in the shade Rye. It is a gorgeous like light brown color. But I bought this yarn specifically to knit the outline tee from Jessie May Designs, and I am going to be working on this. I'm going to cast it on relatively soon. This is going to be my plain project for StitchCon, and also for those times when I can't focus enough to cross stitch. It is a cotton and linen blend yarn, so it's not as soft as superwash, but I think it'll be really, really nice in the Texas heat to have as a tee to wear over dresses or to wear with skirts. And I'm really excited about trying this new dyer and this new fiber. I've never knit with anything that wasn't acrylic or an acrylic blend or wool. So that is super fun. And that is everything haul-wise. Let's talk quilts. So I finished my Cottonwoods quilt last time, and unfortunately I don't have it with me. It has been shipped from my quilter back to me, and it has not made it here yet. But she did send me a picture of the entire finished quilt with the binding on, because I have her do my binding. And this is what it looks like. So I am super, super excited and itching to have that back in my hands. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking when quilts go into the mail, because they are worth a lot of money and you can't really replace the fabric lines because they don't manufacture them anymore. So eek. But the other quilting update that I have for you is about my Eras quilt. So if you watched my last video, if not, I'll have that linked in the description box or in the cards or something. But I am doing a quilt inspired by the secret set songs of the Eras tour. Every night when Taylor Swift is playing, she picks 2 songs that hasn't done before on the tour and plays them. And so every night everyone's interested to see what the secret songs are going to be. And I thought it would be fun. There's a girl, Kyra Crochets, on TikTok doing a crocheted blanket where she does a row in the album color of the song for every song that she plays. And it's really, really fun. But I wanted to do mine as a quilt. So I am using the economy block paper from the Fat Quarter Shop, and it's So Emma. This is in the 6-inch size because there are going to be 52 blocks. So for every concert, I am doing an interior fabric as the first song, then the background, then the exterior fabric as the second song. This is the mock-up of what the quilt is looking like right now. It is a mystery quilt because I don't know what song she's going to play, so I don't know what the finished thing is going to look like. And this includes up to the Nashville shows, or the first 2 Nashville shows, because I'm filming on a Sunday and she has not played the 3rd Nashville show yet. But I did hovel up in my quilt studio yesterday, and I got fully caught up. So let me show you some of the blocks so far. So this was night 1 where she played Mirror Ball and Tim McGraw. And then she played some more songs. So you can kind of get an idea of what this is looking like. This one is an especially pretty block, the Evermore and Fearless colors together. This is Arlington night 1, and this is special because this is a show that I was at. And so I decided to piece this cute little heart and make it a little bit different so I could distinguish what show I was at. So this was Sad, Beautiful, Tragic, and Ours were my secret songs. I'm a big fan of the color combo of Lover in 1989, and then there's Fearless in red, Speak Now in red in a different iteration. This block was all Midnights. She played 2 Midnights tracks. The Folklore and Speak Now together, beautiful. 1989 and Speak Now, Debut and Speak Now, or Fearless, very lemon lime. And more. It's been fun having some of these blocks be the inverse of other ones. The first Reputation of the blanket and of the tour. Absolutely feral on April 29th. And then finally Red, I Bet You Think About Me, and How You Get the Girl. So that is everything. I am caught up to Nashville. I will be sitting down tomorrow night and popping out the 3 blocks for the completed Nashville set tomorrow. If you're interested in seeing what the back of the blocks look like. With the foundation paper, it's super easy. They come out perfect every time, and I don't have to think about it. I don't have to do exact cutting until the very last step, which makes it so, so easy. So this is about 16 blocks down and a few more to go. I am going to be trying my best to put this out as a pattern after I'm finished. But I've never written a quilt pattern before, and there are a lot of steps to consider, especially considering I starch and my fabric requirements might be different. I also don't know how much of every fabric I'm going to end up using, so I ended up ordering a bunch and I probably won't use it all, so I'll have to do all of the math later. But those two quilts are kind of my focus right now. I haven't really worked on anything else, and I have a few project bags in the works, but I have not finished them yet. So that's everything sewing wise. And I believe after that, it's just book talk. Okay, so let's chat books. I have read I've read 6 books in the last 2 weeks. Slowed my roll a little bit from the 12 last time. I read 18 books total in the month of April. I don't know what kind of magic April has, but I read a lot. I got a lot done in April. But it has been a little bit calmer over the last little bit. I am now 6 books ahead on my reading goal, which is very nice. I don't have to feel rushed at all. But it also means that I'm trying to struggle with figuring out what I'm going to be reading this month because my tastes are kind of all over everywhere. So I started off the last 2 weeks reading Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I've read another series of hers. It's a YA fantasy, and it was not my favorite. I just don't think I'm in a YA mood anymore. It doesn't hit the same. I could recognize that I think this book was good, but I don't think it was for me. Like technically, I think it was a good book. I think her writing is great and the characters were fine. It's just, I'm used to being on a higher level with my character development in more adult books, and it just wasn't there. So it wasn't my favorite, but I just don't think it was for me. Like, my criticisms of the book were just about what I wished it could have been if it would have not been YA, which was my same criticism of the other series of hers that I read back in January, the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I had much the same thoughts about this one. I don't know if I'm going to be finishing the series, but there's a little part of my brain that likes the idea of finished series, so we might try. Then I read The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. I first saw this on a TikTok recommendation and I figured I had to have it. So I got this book and I really, really enjoyed it. This is by Megan Bannon, and it's very much like apocalyptic Western zombies, enemies to lovers fantasy. But it follows Mercy, who's an undertaker, and Hart, who is kind of like a mercenary soldier. But they live in this kind of like Western town and they hate each other. But he brings her bodies that he discovered, like zombie bodies that he discovers out in the wild, and because she gets money for it and he's doing his job, and they are both extremely lonely. And so Hart sends a letter to a friend. He doesn't actually address the letter. He just like writes out all his feelings and puts it in the mail. And the mail delivers it to Mercy, but they have no idea they're writing back and forth to each other. So they start this like pen pal relationship, and there's also zombies. It was really, really cute. I really, really enjoyed this one. So if you're looking for something that's weird, but also adorable, this fits the bill. The world building made sense until it didn't. There were like talking animals that I didn't quite figure out how they related to the whole zombie thing. But it was a good book. I really liked it. I thought the character development was great. The romance was great. The spice was fantastic. And it was probably a 4-star read for me. Then I reread Book Lovers by Emily Henry in preparation for reading her new book, Happy Place. I wanted to get back in the Emily Henry mindset. And good Lord, I love Emily Henry books. She writes contemporary romance like nobody else does. And Book Lovers is probably my favorite of her first 3 books. Book Lovers, People We Meet on Vacation, and Beach Read. Book Lovers is my favorite of those. And it's just, Charlie is fantastic. Nora is great. The fact that they are kind of self-aware of the romance genre is fantastic. Then I read Things You Save in a Fire by Catherine Center. I read Catherine Center's The Bodyguard earlier this year, and I really, really enjoyed it. This book was not as good as that one. But there are some trigger warnings, so if you need to look those up, please do before you read this. It is a fade to black romance, which sucks, but I get it. But it follows a female firefighter, and she gets unjustly fired from her job and ends up moving from San Antonio, Texas up to Massachusetts, and it's kind of her love story and her story of rediscovery and connecting with her estranged mother, and I really liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. Like, it was a solid book. The cover is gorgeous, and it definitely has some like badass female energy. I like the way Catherine Center writes. I just wish it wasn't fade to black. That's my only complaint. And then I read the much anticipated Happy Place by Emily Henry. This was my most anticipated release of 2023 for my Taylor Swift reading challenge. It fell under the song Ready for It, and I was indeed not ready for it. It was so good. This actually, I think, has taken my top slot as my favorite Emily Henry book, but it's probably because it follows two people, Wynne and Harriet, and they broke up, but they can't tell their friends because their friends are all together for their final vacation at this important vacation spot to them. So they're having to pretend to still be together in front of their dearest friends for a whole week. And there is a lot of dealing with your friends who you were super close to in school not living around you anymore, and you guys kind of growing apart but still wanting to be close like you used to be, which hit me personally really hard. My best friends from school live in different states, and we do plan vacations to get together, but we really miss just being able to, like, you know, watch movies and be together. Fergus, go away. Be together, you know, every night. It's a different vibe as adults than it is. No, get off. Gotta protect the Q-snap, y'all. Okay, so anyway, I very much enjoyed this. I know a lot of other people have had mixed reviews on this one. It was great for me, but again, it hit that person with anxiety who misses their friends and is kind of living this whole life they didn't really expect to live. And I don't know, I just really liked it. I can't highly recommend it enough, or any of Emily Henry's other books. The covers are really pretty and felt pretty badass to be reading a hot pink book. I loved it. I cried. What more do you want? And then the final book that I read that takes a wildly different turn than any of the other ones is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. This is an Australian mystery, like a whodunit, and it's a very self-aware mystery. You follow this person, Ernie, who is telling you about a weekend that he spent with his family where a murder occurred. But he's writing it in the future, so he's very self-aware of what's happening, and he kind of plays up a lot of the mystery tropes and things that you would see in like golden age mysteries of Agatha Christie and all of those kinds of things. I did not see the bad guy coming, but he, like, as he's writing, he tells you things like, you know, there's going to be a murder in chapter 2, 4, 7, 27, and there's going to be stuff here, here, and here. And there's a clue here if you're looking for it. And even with him being like, you know, there's a clue right here, I still didn't see it coming. But, you know, I probably don't read mysteries as intuitively as I should, or I just don't quite pay enough attention because I'm used to reading more contemporary romance that you don't quite have to pay as much attention to. But I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to as much as I did, but it was a very highly rated book for me. It was just very different, and I very much enjoyed it. So I might look into reading a few more mysteries, but if you're a mysteries person, this is definitely it. There is zero romance in it. It's shocking that I read a book with zero romance in it, but that's about it. And with that, that is everything I wanted to talk about in today's video. So I hope that you will join us for the Vanity Sampler SAL on May 20th, and that if you're going to be at Weekend A of StitchCon, you're getting excited, because I am. So I'm going to go clean up from this and probably work on The Fox by Cottage Garden Samplings, because I think today is its WIP anniversary. I think I started it this time last year. So I might go pull that out. I haven't worked on that in forever. And kind of enjoy the rest of my Sunday. So I hope you guys have a good one. I will see you in about 2 more weeks to talk about what I got up to and give you my Eras quilt update, and hopefully have my finished Cottonwoods quilt. So bye guys, happy stitching.